I noticed the tip jar was lighter than usual on a Saturday night. We'd been slammed all evening, every table full, orders backed up in the kitchen. I'd watched customers drop bills into the jar all night, but when I counted at closing, we were $30 short of what I'd mentally tallied. I thought maybe I'd miscounted. I didn't say anything. It happened again the next weekend, and the weekend after that. I worked at a small family restaurant. Tony, the owner, was usually behind the bar or helping in the kitchen. His wife Marie handled the books. Their son Marco bussed tables on weekends. I'd worked there for 2 years. The pay wasn't great, but the tips made up for it. We pooled tips and split them evenly among the servers at the end of each shift. The fourth time it happened, I paid closer attention. I watched the tip jar all night, mentally noting every bill I saw go in. At closing, I counted carefully. We were $45 short. I pulled aside my coworker Jessica. Are you noticing the tips are coming up short? She glanced around nervously. Yeah, I thought it was just me being paranoid. How long has it been happening? Maybe a month. We decided to watch carefully. The next Friday, I kept a small notebook in my apron. Every time I saw someone put money in the jar, I made a mark. $5, 1 mark, $10, 2 marks. At the end of the night, my marks added up to about $180. The jar had $135. I showed Jessica my notebook. Someone's taking money out. Who would do that? We both knew who had access. The 3 servers, Marco, Tony, and Marie. The servers wouldn't steal from ourselves. Let the family. I started watching Marco. The next Saturday, I saw him walk past the tip jar, glance around, and slip his hand inside. He pulled out a 20 and pocketed it smoothly, like he'd done it 100 times. I felt sick. Marco was 19. I'd worked with him for months. I thought we were friends. After closing, I asked him to stay for a minute. Jessica stayed too. I saw you take money from the tip jar tonight, I said. His face went red. I don't know what you're talking about. I watched you, Marco. You took a 20. He looked at Jessica, then back at me. You can't prove that. I can tell your parents. They won't believe you. He was probably right, but I had to try. The next morning, I called Tony and asked if I could meet with him before my shift. He sounded confused but agreed. I brought my notebook. I explained what I'd noticed, what I'd tracked, what I'd seen Marco do. Tony's face was impassive as I talked. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. You're accusing my son of stealing, Mrs. Patterson. I'm telling you what I saw. Marco's a good kid. He wouldn't do this. Tony, I have records. The tips have been coming up short by $30 to $50 almost every weekend for a month. Maybe you're miscounting. I'm not miscounting. I watched him take a 20 out of the jar. Tony stood up. I think you should go home for the day. I'll call you later. I left. I didn't hear from him for 3 days. When he finally called, his voice was cold. We're going to have to let you go. You're firing me. We can't have employees making accusations against family. It creates a hostile work environment. I'm creating a hostile environment? Your son is stealing from us. I spoke to Marco. He denied it. I believe him. Of course you do. He's your son. Emma was a good kid. I'm sorry, Jenna, but this isn't working out. I was furious. I'd worked there for 2 years. I'd been reliable and honest, and I was being fired for telling the truth.